Hey guys, subscribe for daily knife content, and if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the entirety of my current knife collection. I've had a lot of people ask me like, hey, when are you going to do a collection update video? And I said, there's a couple of things coming in. I really want them to be part of it, so as soon as I have them in, I will do another one. And that time has come. I've done this in the past. You can check out my past collection update videos. A lot of you guys might be thinking, why do you not have more knives? You have like, 1,600 uploads. It's because I give stuff away. I sell stuff, and there's only certain things that stick around, and there's, a reason that they stick around usually. So yeah, that's why. The collection could be, 5 times this size by now, but I just don't, I just like to keep certain things, right? We all have our reasons. Also, for those of you wondering, where can I get some of this stuff, right? Are you going to explain that? Yeah, actually, the retailer's right down in the description, right at the top of the description. I'll go over each of these by name. Many of these can be found at the retailers that I've got linked right down below. So you just click on the retailer and search for the name of it. Also, I have reviewed pretty much everything that's out here. So if you want a full comprehensive review of any of this stuff, just type in Metal Complex and then the name of the knife and it should pull up the video. You can also check through my playlists if you'd like. We're going to be going through these things a little bit at a time. A lot of you have noticed I've got more of my budget stuff up here, some of my more oddball stuff. I've got a lot of my mid-range stuff in the middle, and then my more expensive stuff is down at the bottom, and that's the order that we're going to go through here. Thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, there's a link for that right down in the description as well. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I'm going to start off here with a knife that I try to show every time I do this. This was my very first pocket knife ever. A lot of you guys have heard me tell the story about how my dad gave me this when I was 9 and told me this is a tool, it is not a weapon, it's not a toy, so be responsible with it. And this was after him teaching me how to use a pocket knife and what to use a pocket knife for. I proceeded to open it just like this, go into the backyard and huck it at an empty refrigerator box because I thought it was fun. So he took it away and did not give it back until I was, I think, 11. This was his knife, and then before him, it was my grandpa's knife. The scale, I actually still have the scale. It's back in my hometown. But this is the intact part of the knife, and I always have it because it represents my initial fascination with knives in general. This is a Ballast Song that was sent by a viewer. It's nothing special as far as I understand. Baron's son, I guess. This was so after I made comments about not really being into Ballast Songs. I had a viewer, I believe this is actually Tristan Murphy, I think, who sent this to me, saying you really should, just play around with him a little bit. So I appreciate that. He also sent me a trainer. By the way, there's a couple of things that are in my collection that are not out here. Like I keep a Moranev Robust in my truck, and I keep a Victorinox Cadet in my truck, and then there's a couple of odds and ends here. But this is the bulk of it, right? But yeah, the Ballast Song trainer's not out here, but I do own one of those. I've got a couple of these Ozark Trail, these silly Walmart knives that are fine. I mean, they're basically throwaway knives. This is the Ozark Trail Black Flipper. That's seriously what it's called. And then I have its brother, the Ozark Trail Green Knife. The green knife and the black flipper, which the black flipper is no longer the best flipper in the whole world. These are $5 knives. They're basically throwaway knives. They're not made out of anything special. They'll do the trick until they break, which they will inevitably, but that's fine. They're decent for $5, right? Moving on here. I have a new rainbow mermaid knife that was also sent by a viewer. This makes me, I want to keep this just because it's ridiculous. This is obviously ridiculous. And that's what, this is a knife that makes me laugh, right? I mean, nobody who, the people who made this, whoever actually it was, oh, here we go. Masters Collection. USA design, or as Nick Shabazz would say, designed by USA. This is ridiculous. That's why I want to keep it. There are starfish as thumb studs. Not comfortable at all. Hilarious, though. We have mermaids and dolphins and sea brush and more mermaids and seahorses. There's a seahorse on the pocket. Yeah. I love this for reasons way outside of what I normally appreciate a folding knife for, right? And another ridiculous object, let's get it out of the way. This one actually was something that Nick Shabazz sent in. When I did my quest for the Perfect Unboxing Knife series, which you guys can go watch my channel if you want, you can check that out on my playlist. I said, please, you know, I want people to submit things that are obviously not well made and kind of ridiculous as long as they're somewhat safe. And Nick actually submitted this, and the person who won it actually decided not to claim it, so it's still here on my channel, and it serves as you know, an example of something that I think all of us in some way, shape, or form are attracted to for one reason, or were, like when we first got into knives. Like I remember being like a teenager and thinking, oh yeah, cool, Rainbow Batman double-bladed, you know, thing. But we find out that this is junk, right? I mean, it's not practical, it's ridiculous, it's meant to appeal to people who don't yet know better. And that's fine, I've been there, right? But I think it's important that I keep that around for a lot of different reasons. Now getting into some of the more, I don't know, stuff that has, I guess, more of a purpose. I've got a couple of Openalls. I gotta say, so I have really come down on the Openall knives. I've got an Openall number 8. One of these is stainless. I think this is carbon and this one's stainless. It's number 8. This is the one that people generally go for because it's like the most ideal, I guess, the most popular size. This is a number 9, and I got this from the Going Gear EDC Club, which you guys can check out down in the description as well. I used it the other day to break down like a bajillion boxes. And I always knew it had great cutting geometry, and the reason I don't like these is because they're boring, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff out here I like because it's not boring. This is boring. Wood, ring lock, fully flat ground, clip point blade with a, right? You just, yeah, you know, it's just this big, like, I'm joking, but yeah, there's nothing here for the enthusiast, but as a tool, does it work really well? Yes. I actually tried to give that one away to my buddy Ricky, and he wouldn't take it. So I decided to keep them both around, right? They serve as great examples, and periodically they are useful. My Ontario Rat number, actually my brand new Ontario Rat number 2. Some of these have seen use, guys, and some of them haven't. I know there's going to be pure users out there going, why do you even have knives that you don't use? Let's save it. I don't care. I'm a knife enthusiast, a knife collector, and a knife user. I find joy in all 3 elements. It's been that way for a decade. It's been that way for the life of the channel. It's not going to change. I have an Ontario Rat number 2 that I use as a size comparison knife alongside its older brother, the Ontario Rat number 1. This guy has definitely seen use. It's definitely been resharpened and beat up, right? It's been used as a hammer a couple of times, and it no longer has a tip. This guy's brand new. I just bought it as a size comparison knife when I do reviews and stuff. If you're watching this and you don't know what I do, I review knives. Lots of them. I have certain knives that are common in the knife world that I use to compare, right? People who are in this whole hobby, in this world. These are very common. These are 2 of the most easily identifiable folding knives in existence, and they have been for a long time. The Ontario Rat number 1 and number 2. These are very inexpensive, by the way. $35 to $40-ish, something in there, right? Yeah. Gerber Paraframe. This one has also seen quite a bit of use. I really came down on it for the Steel 7CR17 MOV. Recently, they came out with a, well, not recently. This was the original one, right? Steel frame locks, got some lock stick. The fit and finish wasn't great. The steel sucked for what they wanted. Recently, they've come out with a better version of it, micarta and D2 and some other versions, right? Some aluminum and D2. That thing has, it's been through it. The steel does suck, but yeah, it hasn't failed or anything like that. We used it up on the roof. I've talked about that before when we redid our roof, right? So, yeah. Maybe it's better than I originally thought. One of my favorite budget knives of all time. This is the CEVI Praxis. This is my newer one because I gave my original one away. Definitely, this is these guys are in 9CR18 MOV. This one in particular is gold liners and blue G10. Yeah, if you're gonna go with a budget knife, what is a budget knife, right? For people who don't know or just clicked on this video not knowing that any of this world existed. On this channel, it's anything that costs less than $75. $75? You mean pocket knives get more expensive than $20? Yeah, they do. Much more expensive. But anyways, I have to say that every time, because there's always people coming in who are like, I didn't know, so I'm mad because I didn't know and I don't understand it. Anyways, yeah, great knife for, what are these, $45? CGRB feldspar, another excellent budget knife, one of the best budget knives out there in my opinion. That's why I still own it. Again, a newer one because I gave my original away. This one's gray G10. We've got a nice little brass colored pivot collar, D2 steel. Pretty good. Really, really good knife. I like this one a lot, and periodically it does get used. But again, it's here because I like to use it as an example of a good budget knife, right? Another great budget knife. This is the QSB Penguin. This is the S35VN version. I do carry this one periodically. In fact, a lot more than some of the other budget knives. Yeah, this is, you can still get this. The S35VN version, which was a Knives Plus exclusive, I think those are a little bit harder to find, but you can find these for $30 in either this denim micarta and D2 steel, or what's the other one? OD green. Is there another color? I can't remember. Yeah, you can definitely find those. Absolutely. Oh, the Lightning. The classic Lightning. A lot of people might be asking, where's your Lightning Elite? I gave that one away to a local buddy, but I did keep this newer version of the Lightning. I ordered it for a video. This is very inexpensive. You gotta go to Grindworks for this guy, which is not gonna be linked down below. If you want to pick this guy up, you gotta go to Grindworks. These are not anything special. It's not the same quality as like a Microtech, which we're gonna talk about here in a sec. Yeah, I mean, it's decent. 30, what are these? $35, something like that. We have another knife that has seen an insane amount of use. This is the Cold Steel Toughlights. $25. This one definitely needs to be cleaned up and has not been cleaned up since the last time I did this type of video. It's been a while since I've used that one. It's a great $25 beater knife. This is my Boker Kalashnikov. I bought this in Toxic Green just because I thought it looked cool. This is a great little auto. Offset on this guy. You can get them in different steels periodically, but these are, what, $45? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a inexpensive budget auto, they come in a bajillion different colors. More or less serious, aesthetics. This one's definitely a little less serious, but it's nice to have a bright and colorful knife if you're working in an area where if you drop it in brush, right, a color like that, you're going to be able to spot it pretty easily. Definitely one of the best budget knives that exists. This is the CGRB Rhea, and I think this is Sandvik 12C27N. Yeah, I carry this guy quite often. I think these guys come in at $38. Great little lightweight EDC knife. And I think definitely what I said was the very best budget knife of 2020, and also, again, definitely one of the best budget knives of all time. This is the CEVI, oh gosh, now I'm going to forget it. And cut me a break, guys, because there's a lot of stuff to remember. The CEVI Ortis, there we go. FRN backed up with steel liners. We have a nice opening slot here, right? Clip point blade, nice finger choil. Yeah. Come in a wide variety of different colors and scales and things like that. All that stuff is pretty easily found in the description there. Moving on to some of the mid-range stuff, right? This is the Spyderco Delica. This is actually a special version of it coming in Damascus, like a laminate, a VG10 laminate Damascus and titanium. This was a gift from my wife. I think these run about $200. I do carry this periodic. This is like if we're going to a formal event, or if I'm going, if I go to church or cocktail party or something like that, this is usually the knife that I'm carrying. So it's not getting carried every single day, but it's just, it's a conversation piece, right? This is a nice knife. These are Taichung, Taiwan. Standard Delica doesn't cost nearly that much. Standard Delica costs $80, $85, something like that. It's just not going to be in titanium and Damascus. But yeah, I've always liked the profile of the Delica. I just didn't like the standard setup with the FRN and VG10, so my wife got me an upgraded version. Another gift from my wife. A lot of people are wondering, does your wife often buy you knives? Yeah, she buys me a knife every year for our anniversary because she's just cool. That's one of the not one of the reasons I married her, right? But it's an example of it's an example of why I decided, oh, she's pretty neat, right? She does cool stuff like that. But anyways, I'm so like downplaying my wife. My wife's so cool. She buys me knives. That's why I married her. No. Anyways, Line Steel TRE. This was the first gift my wife gave me for our first anniversary. Titanium and M390. TRE standing for 3 rapid exchange. You can remove the thumb stud and you can add. I've got the flipper tab for it. I've got it set up to where it's just got the stud on it. Love this knife. It used to be kind of my formal carry knife. Not so much anymore. It's kind of been replaced by the Delica. Those, I think, used to be $300. They might be $250, $275 now. Made in Italy. This is the Benchmade Mini Crooked River from the Custom Shop. It's an American-made knife. This was actually a gift from my good buddy Shaker MT, and it will forever remain on the channel. I love this knife. CPM20 CV, black aluminum bolsters, blue G10, blue pivot collar, great pocket clip. It's a wonderful, wonderful example of a Benchmade. This is the reason for the pickle. This is a Benchmade mini griptilian that I've put titanium scales on. This was actually a knife that was custom created in the custom shop by somebody on my Discord because of the whole pickle nights thing, which it's impossible to explain unless you are a regular attender of live streams or you're part of the Discord. And then it says Enablers Club and has a jar of pickles on it. This is a the mini griptilian is also one of the most easily recognizable knives in the knife world. So it's also a size comparison knife. And I still need to have this anodized green and textured like a pickle. It's older brother or counterpart, what serves as the size comparison knife, another size comparison knife alongside this guy. This is the Ritter Hogue RSK MK1G2. This is a KnifeWorks exclusive. You have to go to KnifeWorks to get this guy. It won't be linked down below at the retailers that I have listed down there, but you can find it at KnifeWorks. This is essentially the Benchmade griptilian with a different texturing on the scales, different blade shape, right? And it is made by Hogue and Doug Ritter. No, it is not a copy. No, it is not a clone. There's a lot of history behind this knife. If you guys want to check that out for yourself, Doug Ritter used to do a Ritter version of the griptilian. So anyways, that's why it serves as sort of large and small. This is actually not mine. This is my wife's. This is her Kershaw Blur. It is not in her purse still. Since the last time we did this, I need to bring this back to her. It's just been down here. S30V. I bought this for her a long time ago. I know a lot of you guys are like, your wife likes tip down. She doesn't really carry it in her pocket. She carries it in her purse. So, truthfully, the pocket clip is trivial, but it's on there. Whatever. That's just the way that it is. This is one of the only pocket knives that she really likes. She likes the assisted feature. This is the upgraded S30V variant. You can definitely get this right now, along with a lot of this stuff that I just mentioned right down with those retailers that I talked about. S30V. So it is did I say that's the upgraded version? It's my Spyderco Shaman that I have the titanium scales on. You guys all know, a lot of you guys know the backstory behind this. It's also been upgraded with the Flytanium backspacer and the MXG deep carry pocket clip. This is just about as ideal as it gets. You know, as far as like the checklist for stuff that I look for from an enthusiast perspective for a knife, right? There's a series on this, Quest for the Perfect Folding Knife. This pretty much has everything. I just need to find a Shaman that's got a different steel, because this is S30V, which is fine. I just want more of a, you know, an enthusiast steel. Why? I don't know, because I do. I just do. I do use that. I do carry and use this knife, along with a lot of these, right? Most carried knife ever, Spyderco Pair 3 Maximate. This was also a gift from my wife. Yeah, Maximate is pretty serious. This is an upgraded version of the Spyderco Pair 3. I've also switched out the clip with a different style of MXG deep carry clip that's made specifically for the Spyderco Pair 3. This is made in the United States, just like the Shaman. A lot of people question, I thought Spyderco knives were made in China. I thought Spyderco knives were made in Japan. I thought Spyderco knives were made in Taiwan. They are. They've got Taiwan, Japan, China. They've got USA. They've got Italy. There's a bunch of different Spyderco plants. It's all the same companies. They're just all made. Some models are made in different parts of the world, right? These are US Spydercos. How do you tell? Because it'll say right there. This one's Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. So yeah, that also serves as a size comparison knife. But that's the one that's making it into my pocket the most often, right? Despite not having the same elements as the Shaman, I've got a current series that kind of explains my thought process with that. You can check that out on Sundays, or check it out in my playlist section. Quest for the, or what is it? It's the very best EDC folding knife. Spyderco PM2 that has some custom scales on it. I bought this forever ago. This is a size comparison knife. It does get used down here for opening packages off camera. That's about it. I love the PM2. I just don't love it as much as the Pair 3, right? Another US Spyderco. I think these base price of the Pair 3, by the way, is about $140. Base price of the PM2 is about $150. Next up, I could have included this in the bottom row, but this is a kind of difficult to get. In fact, it's very hard to get right now. This is the Microtech SOCOM Elite US knife, aluminum scales, TrackTech inserts, M390 steel. This is part of the first run of the newer versions in 2018. Did I say this gift for my wife for another anniversary? Yeah, US made. If you can find them, they run about $285. Sure hope we see another run of these soon. You can find the autos, but the manual versions, with which I'm going to tell you guys, I think the manual versions are the best. This thing is absolutely wicked. Fall shut action, even though I gave it a little help there. There we go, fall shut action. You can do the reverse flick. Sounds amazing. Love this knife. I do carry it periodically. It's a big boy, for sure. This was a gift from a viewer. This is a Reich 1902, and despite looking like a much more expensive knife than it is, it's actually, I think these run about $200. Beautiful M390 blade, blue marble carbon fiber, gold pivot collar, really beautiful. All the logos and stuff, all the writing is done in cursive. Number 68, these were apparently numbered. Amazing anodizing work, the polishing and everything. The action on this blade is awesome. This is just beautiful. I did not know this existed. This was a surprise Christmas gift from a viewer, and it'll likely stay in the collection. And the reason I say, I'm sure some people are like, what do you mean likely? Like, you get rid of gifts? Sometimes viewers actually send me little notes with the knives, and they say, do whatever you want with this. If you want to keep it, keep it. If you want to give it away, give it away. If you want to sell it, whatever you want to do. My viewers will do that sometimes, and I'm infinitely appreciative. I've never, openly asked for anything like that. And people just do it. So, and I appreciate that people let me do what I want if it benefits the channel. But yeah, there was no note or anything with this guy, but I'm just gonna hang on to that. I really like that one. That's really a really nice knife considering what it costs. Moving on here, we're gonna move into the more expensive part of my collection. Another gift from my wife, probably the most expensive knife that my wife has ever purchased me. This is a Microtech Combat Troodon Hellhound Signature Series. So the standard, this is a US automatic. The standard version of this knife comes in at about $485. The Hellhound Signature Series, this guy runs about $600. Yeah, this is kind of a dream OTF for me. I do carry this guy. Since it's a gift from my wife, I'm never, ever, ever going to get rid of it. So, doesn't see a lot of use. It's just something I like to carry. It's a conversation piece. I live in Kansas, so I can legally carry OTFs, and we don't really have a lot of limitations here. You can pick up the Combat Troodon, and periodically the Hellhound is available as well. So a lot of the retailers I've got down below, like DLT, GP Knives, and Blade HQ, I think all have Combat Troodons. There's a lot of different versions out there. This was a gift by a really good friend and viewer, Jeff Goodnow. This is one that I will probably never, ever, ever part with. This is a very rare version of the Protech Strider SNG in titanium. This is number 2 of 40 that exist in exactly this setup. 154 cm and a nice sort of tumbled finish on there. Yeah, I love the Strider SNG, and I love Protech automatics, and I love titanium knives. It's not common to find an automatic knife that's in titanium for whatever reason. So yeah, the fact that it's all of those things together, I love this knife, and I carry and use it. It's got a couple of little battle scars on it here and there. The camera's of course not going to show it, but I do carry and use this knife. I don't take it out and throw it around in the mud or toss it across the concrete or anything like that. But yeah, it does get used. So yeah, these were about $490 when they first released. I have no idea what it's worth now. It doesn't matter to me because it's never going to go anywhere. This is my user XM18 3.5 inch. This was the first tri-way harpoon span. So this was an S35VN. This knife definitely does get you can see the wear on the pocket clip, and I think there's a couple of little. I mean, again, like guys, I don't take my knives out and like, I don't like, pound a lot of. If I'm gonna pound a nail in with a knife, which is stupid by the way, I use a hammer for that, but. No, I use my knives for knife stuff, right? And I'm not there's a couple of little teeny tiny chunks out of it. You can see it right there. It gets used. It's not, this is the XM I have in my lineup that's not babied. This is a kind of rare full titanium, like unmilled titanium scale that's on this guy. And I just always wanted a full tie XM user, and this is the one that I use. It's held up. It's the example that I use when I talk about the reliability of Hinder knives. Some people are kind of skeptical about spending that much money on a knife, right? And yeah, that is, in the knife world, you should be. And there are knives that you can spend a lot of money on that really are less than what I'd expect. When I talk about Hinder knives, the reason I love them so much is they're all so consistent. I have the same experience with every single one. This thing I have no reservations with, and it has held up perfectly fine. I just really love that one. Love the blade, not going anywhere. Moving on here, an XM, and by the way, you can get XM18 3.5 inch knives, and finally now some titanium scales are popping back up on the market. You can get those at DLT Trading. That's a good place to check. Here's an XM18 that I do not use. That's right, I do not use it. Tell me I'm crazy or tell me I'm stupid, whatever. It's going to continue that way. This is a S45V in Spanto, a newer version of the Spanto. I've got a different clip on this guy, and I've got a unique scale that I picked up off the Hinder Knives website with the 6-shooter. I just really wanted this to get a different type of titanium scale. This one is milled. The newer titanium scales have milled. You can kind of see in there. Yeah, there's some milling on the inside of the scale. Lightens it up by like 1/3 of an ounce, not that much. But yeah, this scale will probably end up on a different XM. I buy a lot of XMs. This is number 30 or 31 in the entire, not that you can't see them all here because I don't have them anymore. But since I bought my first XM, this is probably number 30. The knife, I don't know, eventually this XM18 might get sold. I've got another titanium scale that is sitting in here that's waiting to be added to yet another XM18. That's the textured titanium scale. But I just don't have the right one right now. And I trade these often. I sell them often, right? So that one eventually might get sold. Don't ask me, because if I do sell it, I sell it to my patrons first. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, like I said, there's a link for that down in the description. There's no exception. If I sell a knife, it is offered up to patrons first. But yeah, that's the idea there. That one won't get used. Another XM, another Hinder that will not get used is the Dark Horse. This is an XM24 in black stonewash finish. This is an extremely rare variant of a Hinder. There's a story behind why I call it the Dark Horse. You can go back in my Hinder Knives playlist and check out the upload on this guy. This has got a carbon fiber scale on it. It's also got all black hardware. This is in 20 CV, and it's a tri-way. Black stonewash finish extending to the frame. I am waiting for a titanium scale for the XM24 and hoping that Rick will make at least one black stonewashed titanium scale so that I can add it to this guy. Not going to sell it. Nope. Not just, it's never going to happen. Not, at least not for an extremely long time. I really, really wanted exactly this, and it finally popped up, and I got it, and now I'm playing the waiting game for the scale. This is a DLT exclusive Strider, and it's actually built by Medford, but it's a Strider 3/4 AR or .75 AR. This is a DLT exclusive. You can still get these down in the description. By the way, Hinders, $425 at base. Generally $200 to $250 for the titanium scales, so these are $600 to $650. XM24s at base, $600. The black stonewash finish adds another $35. So it was $635 plus the friggin' carbon fiber scale and the hardware. It's closing in on an $800 knife. I know it's kind of crazy, but if you're into a certain brand, that's what happens. You know, you keep trading and buying and selling. You know, it can happen that way. And I tell me naming the prices is not to flex, is to let people know who are interested. That's what they run. That's the only reason I'm saying the prices. 3/4 AR, titanium, US made knife, along with the Hinders, if I didn't say that. All of this stuff on the bottom, save for one, is US made. S90V, which is the DLT Trading exclusive version of this knife. This is all tumbled. I've got a different, an aftermarket zirconium LBS in there, which I think it looks pretty nice. But yeah, I love this knife. It's running on phosphor bronze. These get incredibly smooth. These are about $600. I love this knife despite it being a little bit quirky. It's kind of a tank. It's kind of angular and sharp in places. It is absolutely a thick beast of a knife, but gosh, it's broken in so well. Still perfectly centered. Everything is just monstrously and almost, you know, in a cartoonish way, oversized on this knife. All the hardware and everything is, here we go. I love the blade. It gets incredibly thin behind the edge despite being about 1/5 of an inch thick or 190 thousandths on the spine. Wonderful, wonderful knife. Really, really enjoy that one. And that probably won't go anywhere anytime soon. The extremely sought after and hard to get for the moment, Andrew Demko, whoops, oh, what a fail. Andrew Demko 8015 with the Shark Lock. This one's in full titanium. This is an MG, 20 CV steel, textured titanium. Yeah. This is, as of right now, this is my favorite folding knife in existence. I will never, ever sell this knife, ever. This thing is just beautifully fun to play with. It is incredibly well made. This is the same guy who invented the Triad Lock, Andrew Demko. These are made in Wampum, Pennsylvania. Very difficult to get right now. They start at $425, and the titanium versions, the MG titanium versions, are $625. The custom versions, a lot of people are like, I found one of these listed at $820. That's because it's a custom one, or the hand ground blade, right? Probably even more, probably over $1,000 for a titanium custom. But anyways, yeah, this thing has remained beautifully centered. Solid lockup has just gotten smoother and smoother and smoother over time. I love this knife. Never letting it go. I'm hoping that these become more available. I think DLT Trading is a good place to sign up for notifications. If you're looking for this guy, I hope we see more soon. And last but not least, my most recent acquisition. I waited 6 months for this thing at no fault of the designer. This is a BryanDoe, it's actually a Sharp by Design production Evo Typhoon in Damasteel and the new Fullard Harpoon. It's like a Japanese Tanto meets harpoon clip point style. It's just crazy. It's just beautiful. Love Damasteel. Yes, that is different than Damascus for people wondering. Damasteel is a super performance-oriented version of Damascus, which honestly, Damascus can be anything. There's low-quality Damascus, high-quality Damascus. It's not all made equal. Damasteel, however, is a proprietary, like it's always the same thing. It is designed to be used and at the same time be very beautiful, which this is. The pre-orders for these, the original Evo Typhoon was released in 2017. This more recent version, this more recent run was announced in 2020. And there were pre-orders, and we were supposed to get them as early as September, and then because of all, the current events in the world, everything got pushed back, and we just now got them. So this was it's kind of an important knife. Waited for a long time. Wasn't any fault of BryanDoe. These are made by Reich. Base price on these, I believe, were $350, but this guy with the upgraded Damasteel blade was, I think I paid $515 for this guy. Yeah, this is wonderful. This is about as good as you could possibly hope for. Honestly, this is the nicest $500 knife that I have ever owned. It's so far and away there are elements here that can be found in knives that cost well over $1,000, and the fact that I can have this for $500, a lot of people are going to be quick to point out $500 is a lot for a knife. It is, right? And by the way, man, the action on these new ones, oh my gosh, it's just insane. This is flawless. Went over it with a magnifying glass, absolutely flawless. For $500, I don't think there's a better knife out there. Yeah, even coming from somebody who loves Hinder knives, at $500, I don't think there's a better knife in existence. That's my honest. You'll get a full video on this. We haven't seen this one yet. I've got another video of the 2017 Evo Typhoon, but yeah. All right, that was a long, rambly collection presentation video. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, most of it can be found at the retailers down below if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, that's my updated collection. I hope that you guys were at least somewhat entertained by this. I like doing this periodically. A lot has changed, and then again, a lot hasn't changed. A lot of this stuff you guys are going to continue to see in every collection update video, which I'll try to do once every 4 to 6 months. And then there'll always be new stuff, because there's always new stuff coming into the channel. I'm always acquiring new things. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on if you like daily knife content, because that's what I do here. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody.